Hi guys, we're going to walk through how to authenticate and configure Xero with your different templates. So what I have here today, so we have a template. This can be found inside of your template settings. I have named this template Madison, just so we can kind of keep track of which template we're applying to each location. If you notice down here on the bottom, there's going to be an accounting software widget. To get started, you'll click the Authorize button. So this is going to send us to Xero. Here we're going to log in with our credentials at Xero, and then it's going to ask us to authorize with Paycove. So we'll say allow access for 30 minutes, and then this will take us back to our template. Okay, cool. So now that we're back in the template, we notice that this is authenticated. Now we just need to configure it. So here's where I'll put in an alias for Madison. This is for me to help keep track of which Xero license I'm using. We have a draft, we can set the invoice default status to draft or submitted or authorized. Here is where you're going to put in your input. So this is going to be the specific tax code that you'll get from Xero. And then we know that this tax code is going to match up with 9.25. So this is going to be the number that we use inside of Paycove. So for the Paycove calculations, it's going to default to these numbers here. We can also set up a default line item source as well as a default payment source. Okay. So pulling up the deal, we are looking at this one. All right, so what I've done is I've created a a deal inside of HubSpot. I've added some products, and I have created an invoice inside of Paycove. So one thing that you'll notice, these have inherited the 9.25%. So that's what we set on the template level, except for this guy here. So what we've done inside the products, we have designated this product as having a tax amount of 0. So that way we can indicate that this is not going to be taxed. So this is a non-taxed item. Okay, so the next step will be to create the invoice. So great. With that button, we've created an invoice within Xero. We can take a look at how it looks inside Xero. Here you should see description getting pulled in, the account source, as well as all the taxes. And you'll notice that this is tax exempt. So our total comes to 8512.25. When we come back over here, we can see that that matches up, so that's great. Okay, so the next step would be you would present this to your customer. Customer would review it, and then they would pay. Okay, so we can see that this invoice has been paid. Inside of the admin view, we can see that down at the bottom, we have a payment. So every time a payment is collected on Paycove, we're going to add another row here. So what we want to do now is we want to send this to Xero. Okay, great. So that payment was sent over to Xero. Notice over here that the amount due is 0 and that the Xero status is paid. So if we come back to this invoice inside of Xero, give it a refresh, we'll notice that the status has been updated and we have logged this payment here, giving the amount due a 0 amount. Okay, great. And so that's where we're at right now in terms of our current integration. As a quick reminder, we're in the public phase. When we switch over to a partner application with Xero, a couple of these steps are going to be automated. So first step that will be automated is over here. You won't have to click the Create Invoice button. So as soon as an invoice gets generated in Paycove, you'll have the option to automatically have that generate inside of Xero. The second option you'll be able to do, you won't have to click this send to zero button for the payments. So once a payment is collected, we will update the zero status to approved and then submit that payment automatically to zero without having to manually do anything from inside of Paycove. Okay, last step. So once you've configured everything inside your template, and let's say that you want to disable this or to remove your integration with Xero, you're able to just click the disable button over here. What this will do is this will clear out all of your credentials. So now this template is no longer associated with a Xero account. You can do that for each template that you have associated with a Xero account, as well as on the account level. You can disable it from the account level. Okay, so that should be it. Thank you, and let me know if you have any questions.